From homeless to millionaire. A black man's journey in the age of Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Lucas stood under the glaring city lights, the rain slicing through the night like tiny knives. The streets buzzed beneath him, a river of restless souls rushing past, trying to outrun something nobody named. He adjusted his tailored jacket and wiped a bead of sweat from his brow, though the storm soaked him through. Tonight, everything was on the line. They called him a self-made millionaire, a titan of the skyscrapers, a modern-day miracle in a world obsessed with Elon Musk and Donald Trump. But Lucas knew the truth was 1,000 times darker. Just days ago, in a twisted twist of fate, he'd met Claire. She wasn't just any homeless woman. Her eyes were too sharp, too heavy with secrets. She smiled like she knew every shadow in his life, every locked door in his family's past, and every lie he buried deep. Their chance meeting was a spark in the downpour, a crack in his perfect armor. "I'm here to tear it all down." His grip tightened on the leather briefcase. He wrestled with the truth she revealed, a family secret that had simmered beneath luxury dinners and steel silence. Claire wasn't just a beggar on the streets. She was something else. A double agent planted to dismantle his empire brick by brick. The very foundation of his success was under attack from someone who once belonged inside his family's shadows. Lucas's breath hitched as memories flared. Hidden betrayals, whispered deals behind closed doors, and the screams he swallowed as a kid. The lump in his throat grew. He wanted to protect his name, his company, even the hollow reputation he'd fought for. But something in Claire's desperate eyes stirred something fragile. Hope, maybe, for both of them. The city flickered in the rain. Street lamps cast long, cruel shadows over the cold pavement where Claire waited, wrapped in a threadbare jacket. He knew helping her meant risking everything. Letting her... The meeting was minutes away. Panic clawed his chest. "Lucas," Claire said, voice trembling, "there's more you don't know. About your family, about me, about everything." His heart pounded, fingers trembling. The room around him blurred, the line between friend and enemy fading under the city's harsh glare. How far would he go? To keep his empire alive, or to face the ghosts that chased him, even if it meant losing it all? Just when he thought he had a plan, the final, shattering truth sank in. A secret buried so deep it could destroy not just his legacy, but the man he thought he was. The rain thundered louder. The night was closing in. Time was slipping away. What would Lucas choose? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming. And since you're here, drop a powerful like that really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and let me know in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. The rain hammered down around Lucas, each drop a reminder that time was running out. Claire's eyes locked onto his, holding a weight that felt impossible to bear. Just moments ago, he had everything: success, wealth, respect. Yet now, it all hung by a thread. "Lucas," Claire breathed. Her voice trembling like the air, thick with tension. "I'm not here to bring you down. I'm here to protect you." The words struck him like a punch to the gut. Protect him? From what? He squeezed his eyes shut, trying to find the words to dismiss this madness. "Your family," she said, leaning closer, urgency dripping from every syllable. "They're not who you think they are." Then a flicker distracted him. A shadow loomed larger than life. A figure emerging from the dark corners of the alley. Lucas's heart raced. Instinct kicked in, and the world blurred around him. Something about the silhouette felt familiar. He turned, and his breath caught in his throat. It was Marcus. Lucas' older brother. He stepped into el sparse light decididamente luego. La spurienta se escuita, pintando su cara con una mezcla de furia y de traición. «Lucas, estúpido fool, ¿qué haces con ella?», Marcus gritó el voz en tono seco. Lucas sintió el suelo colidir en tu cuerpo. «¿Por qué estaba aquí? ¿Cómo encontró a Claire?», Ención sentenció, agitando toda esperanza de calma. Claire, la expresión twiste y por un momento sonrió. Scared. Marcus. Lucas begó. What was cut off? Don't you see? She's the reason our family is falling apart. She's been feeding information to our competitors. Marcus's words hit like heavy stones, each one sinking in deeper. The accusation ripped through him, but Claire's eyes held fast. No, Lucas, please. It's more complicated than that. But how could he trust either of them now? Their standoff vibrated in the air around them. Then, from somewhere in the shadows, came the crack of a gunshot. Instinctively, Lucas pushed Claire down behind him, his heart pounding in a mix of pure adrenaline and fear. The sound echoed through the wet streets, leaving shockwaves rippling in the silence that followed. "What the hell?" Marcus yelled, looking around for the source, his bravado crumbling like dry clay. Lucas turned to Claire, her face pale, eyes wide with fear. He felt a surge of protectiveness, instinct clawing at him. "We need to go," he gasped. But just as they moved, a figure staggered from the dark, clutching their shoulder, blood streaming down. "Lucas!" the figure gasped breathlessly. It was his father, silent and towering in his past influence, but now crumbling under the weight of revelation. "You need to know. The words were swallowed by the thundering rain. An unholy silence hung in the air, broken only by the pounding of Lucas's heart. His entire world felt like it was collapsing around him, secrets clawing at him from every angle. Marcus stepped closer, eyes wide with disbelief. "What have you done?" he murmured, realization dawning. Lucas felt dizzy. The truth felt like a vice closing around his throat. What truth? He couldn't even think straight. The adrenaline surged, thick and intoxicating. They were all tangled together now, his father, brother, Claire, like a web of deceit spun through the years, ready to snap at any moment. Lucas's thoughts raced. Who was his family? Who was Claire really? Why did everything feel like it was unraveling at the seams? As the shadows of the city closed around them, one thought burned bright in his mind. This was only the beginning. What other secrets waited in the dark? Lightning crackled overhead, a jagged spat of white in the darkness. Lucas felt his heart race as he stared into Claire's eyes. There it was, the truth hanging heavy between them. But just then, through the chaos of rain and thunder, a frozen scream pierced the air, a sound like shattering glass. Instinct kicked in. Lucas's head whipped around. A flash of movement captured his attention. Emerging from the shadows, a figure lunged from a nearby alley, drenched and wild-eyed. His brother, Marcus! Lucas's body froze. A man he'd thought was lost to the grit of their past now stood here, dripping with desperation. "Lucas!" Marcus gasped, collapsing against the wet brick wall, breathless, eyes wide with terror. "They know! They all know! What the hell are you talking about?" Lucas barked, panic surging in his chest. This wasn't just the storm. It was everything he had tried to outrun. Claire's gaze darted between the two men. "What's going on?" she pressed, her voice a mixture of concern and fear. "You don't understand." Marcus's voice shook. "They're coming for you, Lucas. They want to take it all away, to expose you." Lucas stepped closer, the storm losing its hold momentarily. "Expose what? What are you talking about? This night is supposed to be about the pitch." His voice rose, anger breaking the code of control he had clung to. "Your family," Marcus staggered on. "They've been covering up so much. The deals, the lies. It's all based on blood money, Lucas. Claire, she knows." Fury and confusion twisted in Lucas's gut, a tempest of emotions palpable in the frigid air. "What? No." Claire's expression hardened, an eerie hunger in her gaze. "It's true, Lucas. I dug deep enough, saw the truth about your family. Those shadows you buried, they go way back, way further than you think." "Oh, no, no." Lucas recoile, degraundo se piró por debajo. Marcos' ojos nos hablan otra historia, furiosa, enojo y tristeza. "Mentira, Banner, la da que me tratas de niegarme, ¿por qué?" "No." Marcus' voz cortaba su voz, tensada y desesperada. "Ellos fueron parte del placer de tu padre. Asesinatos, coberturas pobres también. Frente a Marcus, su mente se convertía, su imperio, que cada cosa querían perder en la cabeza. The accolades, was it all a facade? He couldn't breathe. His family legacy felt like quicksand, pulling him down, down into darkness." Claire stepped closer, her presence suddenly more potent, each word a stinging thrust. "Lucas, you have a choice. Keep running or face it. You won't escape it forever." He was spiraling. His world was disintegrating. "How long?" Marcus whispered, eyes raw, desperate. "How long do you think you can uphold a lie? The investors are sharks. They sniff betrayal like blood. If they catch even a hint of this, it's over for you." Just then, something distant erupted, a shattering noise. A police siren raced through the streets, an approaching storm of flashing lights. The air whipped with uncertainty, and anguish twisted inside Lucas. What the hell was he going to do? Run or stand his ground? But as the sirens grew louder, fear coiled tight in his chest like a vice. "Lucas," Claire's voice cut through, "you need to decide right now. Fight or flight." The rain poured harder, a fierce curtain separating him from the truth. Did he really know who to trust? Was Claire the enemy or the key? And above it all, the sirens wailed, a relentless reminder that time was running out. Which choice would he make? Would he embrace the darkness or hold on to the faintest glimmer of redemption? And the sirens screeched in the distance, wrapping the chaos around Lucas like a thick fog. He gripped Claire's arm tighter, feeling the tremor in her frame. The truth hung heavy, ready to crush him. Marcus shouting, Claire standing firm, the rain soaking everything deeper than just intentions. But there was something more, wasn't there? Something just under the surface, waiting to explode. Lucas! Marcus's voice cut through the tension, urgent. Don't listen to her. Trust me. Claire shook her head, turning to Lucas. You need to know what's coming, what's been hidden. Then, with an intensity that jolted them all, a blinding light flashed from behind them. A car screeched to a halt, tires screeching against the wet pavement. The door swung open, and a figure emerged, a whirlwind of motion, dark clothes soaking in the rain. It was another man, a stranger. He rushed toward them, eyes wide with a wild mix of anger and terror. Lucas, you have to get out now. They know everything. The sudden intrusion left a stunned silence hanging in the air. Who was this guy? Lucas's mind spun. Who the hell are you? Lucas snapped, feeling the ground quake beneath his feet. The truth, the stranger gasped, glancing back as if expecting shadows to leap from the dark. Your father's not who you think he is. He's been running a powerful operation, and you're caught in the middle. Lucas felt his stomach drop. What do you mean? The man's voice trembled as he filled the space between fear and revelation. All those deals? They're about more than just money. Your family, they're at the center of something big, something dangerous. You don't know who's really pulling the strings. As the words sank in, a deep crack formed in Lucas's understanding. His family? The whispers of betrayal surged back, dark and shadowy. He exchanged glances with Marcus, whose face was now painted with a mix of disbelief and confusion. What do you know? Marcus demanded, stepping forward to block Lucas. You're just a stranger! But the man didn't back down. Just last week, I saw plans for something monstrous. It involves assassination, manipulation. Your names are already in the mix. A sharp intake of breath. Lucas felt his heart sputter. What are you talking about? Your father has enemies, the stranger said, voice low. And they're closing in on you all. You're a pawn in his game. Everything felt like it was collapsing again. The surface of the rain-slicked ground mirrored his spiraling mind. Was this true? Could everything he believed about his family really be a facade, spilling over with blood and betrayal? Anger surged. How had he never seen it before? Suddenly, Claire spoke, her voice fierce yet pleading. Lucas, listen! If you don't accept this, you're doomed! They want you to remain ignorant. That's their strength. The city pulsed around them with urgency. Lucas felt the weight of their stares, his choices swirling in the storm. Just then, another series of blaring sirens rose from the distance. The approaching lights sliced through the dark, red and blue spinning wildly, ready to break the chaos apart. Lucas, the stranger shouted, panic clawing his voice. You need to choose now. Run with me. We can expose them. We can take down your father together. The option felt both electrifying and terrifying. In that instant, Marcus stepped back, eyes suddenly softening with a blend of realization and fear. What if this is true? The question hung in the air like a bitter wind, raw and jagged. Lucas stood frozen, staring into the storm of flashing lights and the faces he thought he knew. Was everything built on lies? Doubt seeped into his bones, and with it came a reckless sense of freedom. As thunder cracked above, he barely managed to mutter a single question. Who can I trust? The city swallowed his voice, leaving only the echo of his uncertainty swirling into the night. Lucas's heart raced, each beat cramming urgency into the air. He couldn't shake Claire's words. You can't run from who you are. Was she friend or foe? The line blurred as thunder crashed, shaking his resolve. He inhaled deeply, preparing to face whatever truth lay ahead. Claire, he started, but a sudden commotion shattered the night. A figure emerged from the shadows, drenched but determined, storming toward them. It was an old man, eyes wild, face twisted with desperation. "Lucas!" he shouted, voice cracking. The world stilled. "You need to listen. It's about your father!" Lucas stepped back, uncertainty tripping him. "My father?" Anger bubbled. What could this stranger know? Who are you? "I'm Derek, a family friend. I thought you knew." His breath came in ragged gasps. "Your father, he wasn't who you think he was. He made deals that put your life in danger." A cold chill raced down Lucas's spine. "What do you mean?" "Trust me, you don't know the half of it. He was involved with people who—" Derek hesitated, glancing at Claire, then back at Lucas. "People who can tear your life apart if they find out you're still breathing. It's bigger than you realize. And Claire knows more than she's saying." A knot formed in Lucas's stomach, the weight of Derek's words settling like lead. "Why should I trust you?" "Because," Claire whispered, stepping forward. Her usual bravado cracked, exposing a glimmer of vulnerability. "I was there. I knew your father." The rain fell heavier, battering the pavement, drumming louder than Lucas's furious heartbeat. "What? You've never mentioned this before." "No, I didn't. I couldn't. It was too dangerous," she stammered, her eyes darting between Lucas and Derek. "I thought I could protect you from the truth." Derek clenched his fists. "You're in danger, Lucas. Your father made enemies, powerful ones. This isn't just some family secret. This is life and death. We need to go. They're coming for you." Cold dread gripped Lucas. Who's coming?" The old man's eyes widened. "The syndicate. They think they can use your name, your wealth to reclaim what was lost. They won't stop until they find you." Panic surged. His empire, built piece by piece, could unravel in a heartbeat. "But Claire, you said you wanted to tear it down." "Only if it meant saving you," she shouted, her voice cracking under the strain of her confession. Lucas's mind spun, loyalty twisted with betrayal. "You're telling me you wanted to destroy my empire, but now you want to save me?" "Listen," Derek yelled, his urgency cracking like thunder. "You have to decide. Do you fight to keep what you built? Or do you face the ugly truth about your father?" The storm raged as lightning illuminated their faces, creating shadows of doubt and fear. Lucas felt lost, the ground slipping beneath him. "Claire! Derek!" he shouted, his voice battling the downpour. "What do I do?" But a deep rumble echoed, a roar unlike thunder. A black van screeched around the corner, tires screeching, headlights slicing through the night. "Run!" Derek yelled, the urgency in his voice piercing the chaos. As they turned to flee, Claire grasped Lucas's arm, her grip firm. "Whatever you choose, it'll change everything." Voices rose from the van, cold and commanding, drowning out the storm. For Lucas, the battle inside twisted deeper, entwined in chaos and revelation. Everything he thought he understood shattered. The night swallowed them whole as they sprinted into the shadows. But fear wasn't the only thing that followed. What was hidden would come to light, and Lucas was about to lose more than just his empire. His identity itself hung precariously in the balance, waiting to be unveiled. Lucas stood frozen, the storm raging around him, heart crashing like the thunder overhead. Claire's piercing eyes held him in place. She could unravel everything, the life he built, the sacrifices he made. More? He whispered, breathless, desperate for answers. She leaned closer, as if the world outside faded. Your family, they're not who you think they are. Everything inside him knotted tighter. The investors on the other side of the glass walls were waiting. Lucas, Claire continued, urgency spilling from her. You have to listen. There are things, dark things. But suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the air, shocking, jarring. Glass shattered from the building behind them, shards raining down like confetti. Lucas's heart raced. Was this part of it? He turned, eyes wide, feeling the pull of a new danger. Before he could react, a figure darted from the broken glass. Ha 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 ha! Black silhouette cutting through the night. Get down! Someone yelled from the crowd. His instincts kicked in. He grabbed Claire's arm, yanking her away from the street. They stumbled back, hidden beneath the awning of a nearby cafe, as the storm amplified. Lucas could feel the pulse of the crowd, their gasps, shrieks, echoing against the rain. The figure stumbled closer, drenched, illuminated by the flickering streetlights. Lucas squinted, recognition slamming into him like a brick wall. It was his brother, Marcus. Lucas, he shouted, blood trickling down his forehead. They're coming for you! His face, once a mask of warmth and laughter during family gatherings, was now twisted in fear. Lucas's world tilted. What do you mean? Who? Trust me, you need to run, Marcus gasped, collapsing against the wet pavement as chaos erupted in the streets. People screamed, shadows moved. Gunshots rang out in the distance. Lucas, I'm serious. Marcus struggled to catch his breath. It's not just Claire, it's our family. They've been lying to you. The words penetrated Lucas's mind like a vicious storm. Lies? This night? Was this why Claire had warned him? The ground beneath his feet felt unstable. Lightning illuminated Marcus's eyes, haunted and wild. They built your empire on blood. You're part of something dark, something bigger than you know. Lucas's heart stopped, exploding with confusion. Blood? Lies? His thoughts cascaded like the rain pouring down around them. I can't understand. Mom! Marcus screamed out, desperation rushing through him. They've taken her! They've been using you to cover it all up! A chill gripped Lucas, sharper than the biting cold of the storm. His mother? Taken? All the pieces, the secrets he thought were buried, were they just beginning to scratch the surface? With his brother trembling beside him, his eyes flicked to Claire, standing apart. And you? He demanded, wondering if she was in on this twisted web. Claire shook her head, tears mixing with the rain. I'm here to save you. I promise. But Lucas's doubt loomed heavier than the clouds above. He felt trapped, caught between two worlds. The one behind the glass, polished and pristine, and this dark, chaotic storm surrounding him. Before he could choose, sirens blared in the distance, cutting through the panic. The night had transformed, leaving him with more questions than answers. The tension snapped, and everything spiraled into uncertainty. As shadows danced through the pouring rain, one thought pierced his mind. What if everything he believed was built on lies? With the thunder crashing above, Lucas stood at a crossroads. But which way could he go? Lucas stood frozen, Claire's words swirling around him like a tempest. His empire loomed behind him, a dark reminder of the choices he'd made. The city felt alive, the thunder echoing his racing heart. I can't, he started, but she stepped closer, urgency glimmering in her sharp eyes. Just listen, she implored, her voice a mixture of desperation and something deeper. You don't know the whole story. Your father. A crash of thunder punctuated her sentence, but he sensed the shift in the air. Was the rain or something else gathering around them? There was an odd tension, a straining thread of fate tugging at him. Your family has secrets. I'm part of something bigger, Lucas, she continued, her eyes searching his. Something your father's hiding. His breath quickened. What are you talking about? Suddenly, a flash of light illuminated the street, and figures emerged from the shadows. Subtle at first, but growing in number. They wore dark suits, faces serious, eyes cold. Lucas felt a chill run down his spine. Something was building, and the energy shifted from fear to a deep-seated dread. Who are they? Lucas whispered, feeling nausea bubble in his throat. Claire's expression hardened, and he couldn't tell if it was fear or resolve. Your father's men, she said, stepping back, her facade crackling. They're here for this. In that instant, a deafening explosion shattered the night. Glass from a nearby building burst outward in a spray of shards. Lucas instinctively grabbed Claire, pushing her down to shield her from the worst of it. The world exploded into chaos around them. Get down, he shouted, adrenaline coursing through him. He saw the men scramble, shock and panic flashing across their faces. But his mind spun in a different direction. His father's name, the power it wielded, and all the whispers that had taunted him in his youth. The cacophony subsided momentarily, but damn it, not before he caught a glimpse of Claire's expression. Someone he thought he might understand was deepening into something unexpected. Then he noticed the glint of metal in her hand, a small device cupped tightly. What is that? Your family has built this empire on blood, Lucas. Her tone turned cold, slicing through the smoke. This isn't about me. It's about you, about them. Everything you know is a lie. At that moment, the shadows shifted. One of the suited figures, their leader, Lucas could tell, began to approach, eyes locked on Claire, but veering ever closer to him. Lucas, you're in danger, Claire murmured, stepping protective in front of him. You have to run. For a second, the world blurred. Lucas stared at Claire as if searching for the truth in her mismatched world of jagged edges and hidden depths. His hands trembled, his heart raced, the world felt surreal. Then it hit him. The shock, so profound, a rock dropped in a still pond. The truth of Claire's identity slammed into him like a freight train. He saw the flash of recognition in her eyes, how she belonged to the swirling chaos. "You're not just a homeless woman," he choked out, the reality piercing him. "You're part of this, aren't you?" Before he could react or reconcile, a gunshot rang. Someone in a suit had pulled a weapon, aiming directly at Claire. Fear twisted Lucas's gut. He had to choose, fight for a lie or uncover the shadow of reality. "Get down!" he yelled as a rush of bodies moved in. The rain fell heavy, but the weight on his soul felt even heavier. Who was Claire? What did she know? What kind of legacy was waiting to unfold in the horror that surrounded him? And in that heartbeat, the world around him began to splinter, leaving him gasping in uncertainty. Lucas stood frozen, the chaos swirling around him. The thunder rumbled, matching the pounding in his chest. The figure poised to shoot still lingered in the shadows, but the urgency shifted like shifting tides. "Get down!" shouted Marcus. Body tensed as another gunshot rang through the air. This time, it wasn't just a warning shot. It hit flesh. Claire screamed, collapsing to the ground, blood blossoming on her jacket. Claire! The world around Lucas dimmed. He could only think of the warmth of her smile, now cold under the rain. "No, no, no!" he screamed, dropping to her side. Panic surged through him, choking him. "Lucas, we need to move!" Marcus urged, eyes darting between the approaching gunman and Claire. But Claire was gasping, clutching her side, eyes wide and terrified, confusion etched on her features. I didn't," she stammered, fingers trembling as they reached for Lucas. The blood pooled in a dark halo, blending with the rain. "My God, Claire!" Lucas's heart twisted, anguish clawing its way up his throat. Her gaze met his, and it crackled with something he couldn't place. A mix of pain and clarity. Then with sudden clarity, Claire's voice sliced through the storm, sharp and commanding. "Lucas, listen to me. I never meant for it to be this way. I thought I could change things. I thought—" Her voice trailed off, a desperate plea buried deep within her intensity. "What do you mean? Change what?" His heart raced, every word like a punch. He pulled her closer. The warmth was fading. Before she could respond, another gunshot rang out. This one aimed wildly into the crowd. Shouts erupted, the chaos intensifying. Lucas gritted his teeth, fighting against the rising tide of panic. He looked at Marcus, searching for clarity in the spinning confusion. What was happening? Who was this man targeting Claire? Who was she really? Derek shifted beside them, his face pale. "You've got to get out of here, Lucas. This isn't just about your family, it's about Claire as well." "I can't leave her," Lucas shouted, his pulse wildly beating against the all-consuming panic surrounding them. "Just listen," Derek shouted, pointing towards the commotion, where the suited men were closing in. "There's something you don't know about Claire. She was a part of it all." Lucas felt the ground shift beneath him. Everything he'd come to believe wavered. "What do you mean?" he gasped, the weight of his heart heavy against his ribs. Suddenly, Claire gripped his hand tighter. "Lucas, please, I never meant for any of this to happen." With that, another figure emerged from the shadows, one Lucas had never expected. It was his father, drenched but unmistakably present. "Lucas, you need to listen to me," he yelled, weaving through the chaos toward them. desperation twisted on his face. "Dad?" Lucas felt the world tilt. You're here? I can explain everything. But first, we need to go." The very fabric of Lucas's reality frayed, unraveling like a poorly knitted sweater. "But Claire—" "Shut up, Lucas! You have to trust me." "Trust you?" Just then, the gunman reacted, making a frantic decision. He leveled the gun at Lucas's father. "You think you can run from this?" he shouted, fingers twitching on the trigger. This time, Claire lunged forward. A deafening crack cut through the air. A second shot fired, echoing against the rain-soaked street. Time stood still. Lucas's whole world shattered. Blood sprayed across his father's shirt, mingling with the downpour. "Dad," he choked, feeling his stomach drop. But just as quickly, something in Claire flickered. A flash of a smirk, lips curling wickedly. Then the world shifted again, as if everything that had happened was a carefully orchestrated play. "I was meant to pull you away from this, Lucas, but there was never any way to truly escape," she whispered, eyes gleaming with an unsettling fire. "You were always part of the plan." ... The horror of her revelation washed over him, cold and deep like the rain pouring down. Marcus screamed in defiance, breaking the spell of disbelief. "You did this. You were using him." But Claire's expression hardened, revealing layers he never knew existed. Layers intertwined with the darkness of his family's secrets. As the sirens wailed closer, Lucas felt everything crumbling around him. How far had he fallen into this web of lies? And as the rain continued to pound on them, their paths twisting further into darkness, he was left standing between betrayal and a truth too gruesome to face. What else was hidden? Lucas stood there, panic gripping his chest as his world spun wildly. Claire lay on the ground, blood pooling around her. His father, shot in cold blood, slumped nearby. The chaos of the night blurred into a cacophony of fear and desperation. "Get up, Lucas! Move!" Marcus shouted, voice cutting through the madness. But Lucas couldn't pull his gaze away from Claire. Her breaths came in short gasps, eyes wide and pleading. "Please, don't let this be it," she whispered, and the fragility of her voice shattered his heart. Derek crouched beside them, glancing around nervously. "We need to get her help, now!" But before Lucas could respond, the rain suddenly thickened, the downpour blurring the scene. Shadows flickered in the dark, drawing nearer. The suited men were regrouping, their dark forms looming. The tension surged like a wildfire. "Lucas, stay here!" Marcus yelled again. "Get her to safety!" With shaking hands, Lucas wrapped his arms around Claire, lifting her as gently as he could. She winced, a soft cry escaping her lips. He didn't know where they'd go, but they had to move. "Help me, Derek!" As they stumbled back into the chaos, another shot rang out, and a surge of adrenaline shot through him. Lucas instinctively ducked, holding Claire close. "Why are they doing this?" Lucas screamed, scanning the darkness for answers. "What did you do?" "I tried," Claire gasped, blood trickling from her lips. "I only wanted to save you, but they wouldn't let me." Her eyes flicked past him. "Run!" she shouted. Before Lucas could process the urgency, the stranger, Derek, suddenly lunged at him, eyes wild. "The truth is worse than you think. Your father, he—" But just then, a thunderous explosion erupted behind them, sending debris spiraling into the air. Lucas's heart stopped. The shockwave knocked him to the ground, disoriented. He shielded Claire and lost sight of everything. Flashes of light flickered through the smoke, and shouting filled the air. Lucas struggled to get up, fighting against the weight of confusion and fear. Finally, he found his footing, adrenaline pushing him forward. But as he looked around, everything shifted. His brother was screaming, "Marcus, where are you?" He turned to find Marcus wrestling with one of the suited men in the dark. They were locked in a deadly embrace, shadows battling for survival. Suddenly, Claire's voice broke through the chaos. "Lucas, look out!" But it was too late. A sharp pain stabbed through his side, and he gasped, stumbling backward. The world faded. He saw Claire's face, painted with horror, the realization crushing him. But before he collapsed, a blinding light flared, illuminating everything. Time froze. "Wake up!" a voice echoed, distant yet commanding. Lucas blinked, struggling against the darkness that tugged at his consciousness. He gasped, suddenly back in his own bedroom, surrounded by the familiar comforts of home. The soft hum of his bedside lamp, the taste of salt lingering in the air. Panic surged in him. What just happened? It felt too real to be a dream. Lucas's heart raced, memories of the night flooding back. He scrambled from his bed, disoriented and breathless. Hadn't he just been in the rain? "Lucas!" a familiar voice called, and he swung around. His father stood at the door, looking as he always had, smiling, charming, as if nothing had ever happened. "No! No!" Lucas felt his stomach drop. "You shot! I saw it!" His father's expression shifted, confusion knitting his brows. "Shot? You're not making any sense." "Claire, where is she?" Lucas's voice trembled as panic seeped into his soul. Had it all been a nightmare? But his father only shook his head. "Who's Claire?" Everything inside Lucas unraveled. The memories felt vivid, yet they slipped through his fingers like sand. A sense of dread washed over him. Nothing was right. "Was it all a lie?" he muttered, breathless. "Lie? Lucas, you're scaring me!" But what frightened him more was the glint in his father's eye. A flicker of something hidden, buried beneath the surface. "What do you mean?" "Lucas Prest, realización creciendo como piedra." "You're lying!" And at that moment, he knew he had to dig deeper. The storm was just beginning, a tempest brewing inside him. Shadows raced through his mind, and he needed answers. The door slammed shut. Lucas's heart pounded as darkness fell around him again. There was no escape. Secrets waited, hidden in every corner, threatening to engulf him in a world that felt more dangerous than ever. Lucas blinked hard, his heart racing as he staggered backward, the weight of everything crashing over him like the relentless rain. The room he had once thought was a sanctuary felt like a prison. "No, you're not real!" His voice was raw, trembling like glass. "Lucas, listen to me." His father's voice cracked. This was never supposed to happen. The memories surged around him. The darkness, the confusion, the painful reality that had unfurled like a violent storm. But Claire, he hadn't imagined seeing her blood-soaked body, hadn't dreamed the truth of her existence was a part of his own family's dark legacy. "Dad, what truth?" Lucas demanded. "What have you been hiding?" "The syndicate," his father replied, desperation lining his words. "Your mother's life depended on secrecy. It was about power, control, keeping the family safe." Safe? Lucas could barely manage the word. "You've put us all in danger. What about Claire? What about the people you hurt?" Suddenly, a flicker of clarity surged. He remembered Claire's face before it had all gone black. Her fierce resolve, her pain. She wasn't just part of the chaos, she was the catalyst for change. "Where is she? Where is Claire?" Lucas's voice broke. "She's gone, Lucas. You have to understand." His father's tone shifted, urgency spilling out. "If you reveal what you know, it'll put you and your family at risk. I did what I had to do." A lump formed in Lucas's throat. "You mean the lies? The danger? It's all a part of your game?" "Stop," his father shouted, stepping closer. "You don't understand the world we live in. Power requires sacrifices." "No!" Lucas cried, rage bubbling up within him. "Not this time. I'm done with your choices." He turned, running out of the room, desperate for air. The walls felt like they were closing in. He stumbled through the haze, feeling the pulse of the city around him. The weight of his father's legacy pressed down, but with every breath, he felt something stir. Then the world erupted in chaos again. Loud voices filled the streets, sirens blazing in the distance. Lucas pushed through the crowd, alive with the energy of desperate souls. Cars honking, raindrops rhythmically slapping against pavement. "Lucas!" A familiar voice broke through. It was Marcus, eyes wild with fear. "Where's Claire?" "Marcus!" he shouted back, fighting against the current. "She's hurt. We have to find her." But then something shifted. The crowd turned, panic spreading like wildfire. "Run!" someone yelled. "They're coming!" Lucas grabbed Marcus, pulling him toward a side alley. "What's happening?" "The syndicate. They're after you." Marcus's breaths came in jagged gasps. "They know what you found out. We have to move." The realization hit like a slap. He couldn't go back, not anymore. It was time to face the darkness that had shadowed his life. The rain, which had felt so isolating, now became a symbol of cleansing, of hope. He had to dig deep to unearth the truth and embrace it, even if it meant facing off against his own family. As Lucas and Marcus took off into the night, every step felt heavier. But he knew the fight wasn't over. Secrets were buried in the depths. The truth loomed, restless and angry. And as he ran, adrenaline pounding in his chest, he caught a glimpse of Claire's fierce determination in his mind's eye. He would bring her back somehow. He could not let the storm of his family's past drown him. The night was alive with the echoes of danger and the relentless pulse of the city. But deep within, a flicker of light began to grow, a promise of redemption, a whisper of new beginnings. Lucas tightened his grip, ready to confront the shadows ahead of him. Whatever the future held, he was ready. And as the last of the night faded into uncertainty, he knew one thing for sure. The truth would finally set him free. You have to subscribe now. Don't miss what happens next. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comment section with your reactions and theories about Lucas's journey. Share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this ending. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even a second longer.